And her mother was regarded as a witch often because of her healing skills and, you know, her foreignness and strange accent. And she taught her daughter everything that she knew about herbal medicine in very clever ways. This is called five-finger medicine. With winter came more lessons, time spent in the kitchen with May and the herbs and medicines. Maggie watched and listened, and the plants lent their voices. They sunk in because May had a way of making remembering easy. Today, Maggie dear, we will count with our fingers, and each one will be a lesson worth remembering. Five-finger medicine is within everyone's grasp, but it's not everyone who will hold it tight. Not just anyone who will know it. By the end of this day, you will have it at the tips of your fingers. She held up her thumb. Number 1. She reached into a pouch and took out a pinch of dried plantain seeds and leaves. She chewed on these and spit the resulting sticky mass into the palm of her hand. First is spit or water. If you have nothing else, you chew the medicine and dissolve it in your own mouth and make a spittle pack to press onto a wound or insect bite. Spit. She lifted Maggie's hem and exposed her recently scraped knee, pressing the spittle poultice onto the raw skin. Maggie flinched and squirmed at the initial sting, but smiled as she felt the burn fade as the plant worked its way in. May stood and turned to the warm stove. Water. You boil or simmer the medicine in water. This can be done by the heat of the fire, or sun, or even the cool light of the moon. Infusions, teas, juices, all made with water. While May spoke, she crumbled a handful of peppermint leaves into a simmering pot and covered it tight. Nonetheless, the room was filled with the sharp scent, and Maggie inhaled peppermint before following her mother out to the stone porch. Out under the bright night sky, May set a glass bowl full of cool spring water with floating rose petals atop it, telling Maggie, the full moon will pull out the delicate scent and make a magic mist for us to use in the mornings. Our skin will be rose petal soft and perfumed, just like the old world princesses. When will it be ready, Mama? Maggie asked, impatient. We will rise with the sun and use the dawn's rose water, her mother promised, whisking Maggie back in before the mint tea boiled over. As she took the pot off the flame, she held up 2 fingers. Second is sweetness, sugar, honey, syrup. Children such as yourself like this best and will take their medicine in this way, when you cannot force them to take it any other. Maggie smiled in agreement as her tongue remembered honey, coughing medicines, maple candies, sugared violets. Sugar will break down a plant so it slips right into your tongue. You love the sugar flowers we dip in the spring, and where would we be without honey hives and syrup? Maggie reached for the crockery where her mother stored the dried fruits she used for cough medicines. Wild grapes were shriveled and darkened, but their sweet, musky smell was still pungent. Wild cherries dried black and hard and whole. She ground them, seeds and all, in the stone mortar as her mother bent to the cool, low shelf that held the honey jars. Together they mixed the wild grapes, tart cherries, and thick clover honey in a wide jar. Then May added a spoonful of brandy, a spoonful of vinegar, 4 cloves of chopped garlic, and a pinch of sugar. This will cure anything from a tickle to a cough. Stop it short in your throat before it gets heavy in your chest. Coughing syrup. And yes, vinegar is stirred. She pushed a gallon jug of apple cider vinegar closer to Maggie. Vinegar is a fermenter, draws the medicine out, especially the invisibles, vitamins, and minerals. Vinegars used on raw foods or cooked or added with a bone to soup will draw its marrow strength out and into the broth. Vinegars help clean wounds, stop bleeding, stop stinging, help with digesting. Vinegar. May pulled off the wax stopper and Maggie pinched her nose shut against the sour odor. May added a pinch of dill, a sprig of lovage, a smidge of mint, a spoon of salt, a dash of chopped celery, and 1 powdered strawberry. As she stirred in the magic ingredients, their scents mingled, and she proclaimed, "This vinegar will be a culinary specialty." May wiped her brow and then emphatically stretched out 4 fingers, which leads us to the 4th. Spirits, used to make the strongest, most intensive concentration of the plant. Fermented ales and beers, brews and ciders, brandies and cognacs, corn whiskey, rice wine, and of course the clear, pure vodka. A plant tincture, or simple, is made with alcohol. Together they chopped the curled comfrey, hard burdock, and waxy dandelion roots. May dug the day before when she smelled snow coming. Maggie labored over the hard, tough roots, and May helped her by pummeling them with a wooden hammer. The softer and smaller we can make them, the better the alcohol will distill them. The more of the inner core we can uncover, the stronger the brew will be. When it's done steeping, just a teaspoonful of tincture will usually halt what ails you. Nip it in the bud. They scraped the chopped and pounded roots into brown bottles, covered them with clear vodka, and stirred them under. May capped and corked and shook them hard before setting them on the shelf with all the others. 5, she shouted. Oil! On the stove, a cast iron pot warmed, and when May poured in the golden oil, the room filled with the scent of dinner starting. May kept the savory olive oil in large vats she yearly imported to the apothecary, special packages sent all the way from Sicily. May always doled it out with careful measure, using it to season food as well as to make medicines. She went about the task of crushing open globes of garlic cloves, smushing each clove with her thumb into the cutting board, forcing the skins to peel away. Maggie's little fingers picked away at the papery sheaves while May chopped and pressed the garlic into a stinking paste. When she scraped the mashed garlic into the cast iron pan, the oil simmered with delight at the perfect union. Soon it was caramel brown, and May removed it from the flames. We let this cool overnight and soak deep throughout the oil. Tomorrow we will strain and bottle it for later use. For what use, Mama? Maggie asked, right on cue. Oh my, May took in a deep breath. Where do I begin? A tablespoon of this added to any soup or meat mixed with any vegetable or greens will flavor it well and keep us strong, guard us from illness and weakness, clear our breathing. If it ever gets so far as an ache in the ear, we'll pour a drop of this garlic oil right in, and the earache will quickly subside. And you must remember, times I dab the oil on cuts and insect bites. It helps to heal and stop infection, helps to kill the sting of venom. When you were a baby, I would rub it on your fat little feet on cold winter nights, then put double socks on and let your stuffed toes warm in front of the fire. You never so much as sneezed that first winter. It kept all sickness away. It kept you safe. May's voice trailed off, and she cleared her throat of its sudden lump, cast her eyes away so Maggie could not see the tears that came, set herself to pouring the tea and spooning out extra honey, mirroring Maggie's quick smile, delighting in her pleasure. When they sat down to their cups of honeyed peppermint tea, they both grinned with pride to see all they had made in one night with 5 fingers.